They don't want this truth going out, so they're going to shut it down for some odd reason. But that's not going to stop this word from coming out. I'm going to go ahead and dive into these scriptures and bring it out. We ain't going to have defense and stuff like we normally have, so hopefully you can hear us clearly. Hopefully everything comes through clear in the audio aspect of this video. So we're about to get started with the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. It's the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of Mashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to the power and the honor by him. So whatever you do in your words and your deeds, make sure you're doing it in the name of the anointed Savior of Mashiach Yahushua, and giving thanks to the Abba that's in heaven. So we're about to go ahead and dive into the class. Wednesday Wisdom with Solomon. We're reading out of the book Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha. If you got your red Apocrypha, it should be page 61. If you got the 1611 King James Version, go ahead and find the Wisdom of Solomon. Let's turn to chapter 6. When you got it, go ahead and start reading, King.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, page 61. Hear therefore, O ye kings, and understand, learn, ye that be judges of the end of the earth,
ye that be judges of the ends of the earth. So when they say you can't judge, listen to what the man with wisdom says. Go ahead, verse 2.
Verse 2. Give ear, ye that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations. For power is given you of the Most High.
What it is?
For power is given you of the Most High.
The power is given by the Most High for you to be in rulership. Understand that. Keep going.
And sovereignty from the highest.
And if you're going to have sovereignty, that comes from the highest. Only way Israel is going to get their sovereignty by coming back, keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. And then we will be put in that rulership, because again, the rulership, the authority of the people, the power of the people comes from the Most High. Keep going.
Who shall try your works and search out of your counsels?
Who will try the works and search out the counsels? Well, let's get a precept real quick. Give me Romans 13 and 1. Give an understanding that the people who are in rulership, it's a reason why you're in rulership. It's a reason why you got your court systems and everything that you have set up, the admiralty law or the maritime law. So we got to even understand the things when it comes down to laws. The law of the land versus the law of the sea. Right? I ain't going to dive too deep in that. You can catch my class I did on that with the rulers of this earth. Well, let's get started with Romans chapter 13 and verse 1.
This is the book of Romans chapter 13, verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of the Most High.
So the powers that be are ordained of the Most High. The same thing that Wisdom of Solomon just told us in the Apocrypha. So if you come across somebody that tells you that Apocrypha is heresy, it has nothing to do with the scriptures, that's the whole point of me going into the Apocrypha, to prove all those naysayers wrong. The Apocrypha it echoes everything the rest of the scriptures say. It echoes everything the Torah says. And that's what we got to understand. You can't just listen to somebody on why they reasons of why it's not in the scriptures, because they was taught one thing. And we know that because you taught something, that doesn't make it true. We was taught that Christopher Columbus discovered America. You get older, you find out that's not true. How can you discover something with people already here? That's an oxymoron in itself. But keep reading. 13.
Verse 2. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power.
Whosoever therefore resists the power. So if you want to resist and try to go against this man-made system that is set up, that the Most High set up, mind you, what happens?
Resisted the ordinance of the Most High.
You resist what the Most High put in place. Keep going.
And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation.
Now, I'm not saying that, see, that's that Christian. Turn the other cheek. You like the lady, the man who said, I forgive, and hugged the lady that killed his brother when he sitting in his own apartment eating ice cream, looking at TV. It's not that kind. Because if we do what the Most High tells us to do, guess what? We out of harm's way, and it goes into that. Keep reading.
For rulers are not a terror to good works.
Say that again.
For rulers are not terror to good works.
The rulers that run the system, they not there to show you good works. They're not there to do good. They're there to do their evil. Keep reading.
But to the evil.
Yep, and they doing it to the evil. You fight evil with evil, in a sense. But keep going.
Will thou then not be afraid of the power?
Will you not be afraid of the power doing that they out there committing evil? Let me see your license. Oh, you're rich for up. Man, you just asked me to show you my license, and it's in my back pocket where most people keep their wallet. So when I reach back to get my wallet, why are you shooting at me? That's not a good work. That's an evil work. But keep reading.
Do that which is good.
Say that again.
Do that which is good.
Let's show them what good is. Romans. Oh, it's just right there. You got it? 7:12. Oh, dang, I'm talking about it right there. Romans.
Yep. This is the book of Romans chapter 7, verse 12.
Kind.
Wherefore the law is holy.
Yep.
And the commandments holy.
Yep.
And just. And good.
And what?
And good.
Those that do good don't have to worry about it. Let's go back to Romans 13 real quick. Let's finish it off.
This is the book of Romans chapter 13.
Yeah, top of 3.
Verse 3.
Uh-huh.
For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil, to the evil.
Yep.
Will thou then not be afraid of the power?
Uh-huh.
Do that which is good.
Keep the commandments.
And thou shalt have praise of the same.
And they ain't gonna mess with you. If you're doing that which is good, they is not gonna mess with you. And you'll be surprised how that works out. But again, at the end of the day, it's all in the Most High on what He sees fit. Let's see, shall I read 4? Yeah, read verse 4 for him too.
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
For he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good.
Yep. Keep going.
But if thou do that which is evil.
But if you do that which is evil,
be afraid.
Your heart will be pumping fast when you hear that whoop whoop pull up behind you. Now, mind you, our heart is already in fearful anyway when we step out the door because of the curses put on us by the Most High because we didn't want to keep the commandments. But now your heart is going to beat extra hard now, knowing that you out there doing craziness and that police pull up behind you. Keep reading.
For he beareth not the swords in vain.
He do what?
For he beareth not the swords in vain.
He don't carry around that gun for nothing. Everything he got is shaped like a gun. He got the actual gun. He got the taser that's shaped like a gun. His radar that he used to clock cars, that's what it's called. A gun. So everything they got is shaped like a gun, which is the modern day sword. But keep going.
For he is the minister of the Most High.
He's the minister of the Most High to do what?
Revenge to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil.
That's what he's there to do. He's there to execute the wrath of the Most High and his vengeance. And mind you, when you see him out there shooting each other and doing, hey, that's still the wrath of the Most High in his vengeance. So that's what we got to understand when they try to use these scriptures, when they say, oh, everybody got to obey the law of the land. The law of the land, I just saw an article where they said the FDA approves making and serving genetic engineered animals. Now, mind you already knew that was that, but FDA passed it where they said, okay, now you can literally clone this chicken, sell this chicken. Clone this pig, sell this pig as meat. Clone the cow, give them the milk from the cloned cow. And then on top of it, once the milk is done, chop up that cow and give them that nice T-bone steak that they love so much. The roast and all this other stuff. So hey man, there's going to become times when we really need to go ahead and get farms and know that this is a real animal. But it's going to be hard to determine which animal is a real animal. Yeah. You're going to be that suspect when you're going to go buy an animal. How are you going to know if this is a real animal or not? It moves, it talks. As they say, if it looked like a duck, it quacked like a duck, guess what? It's a duck and you buying it. So we got to understand these things when we going through this earth. Because they out here doing wickedness. The judges right now of this earth is wicked as hell. They wicked. Now, I done heard the stuff on, see, I don't even know if I can say certain things, man. I don't even know if I can say certain things. Because I know about this one company, right? that gives you genetic modified seeds and tell you, look, this is how they treated farmers, man. We're going to give you these seeds. You put this in your farm, in your land, you grow this stuff, you make your profit, but then if this seeds fit, oh, you can't grow no more because you used our seeds.
Right.
Now, where you going to get the original seed from? Because that seed destroys the soil down there. Now, let's get back to the wisdom of Solomon. I can go on and on in the days of how crazy the rulers of this earth are right now. But we already understand. They're not a terror to good works, but evil works. Understand that. They out here to do evil works, not good works. When we get that understanding, we get that through our skull, everything will become a lot simpler and easier for us. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6 and verse 2. Read 3. We got 3.
It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 3.
Come.
For power is given you of the Most High,
Yep.
and sovereignty from the highest.
Yep.
Who shall try your works and search out your counsel?
Yep. Keep going.
Because being minister of his kingdom, ye have not judged aright, nor kept the law, nor walked after the counsel of the Most High.
And that's what happened. Us, the so-called Israel, the black, the African American, the Native American, the so-called Hispanics, being the true Israelites, we're supposed to be the true judges of this earth. And we have not kept the law of the Most High to do what we should be doing. Keep going.
Horribly and speedily shall he come upon you.
Yep.
For a sharp judgment shall be to them that be in high places.
In high places. So we got to watch ourselves, man. Keep going.
For mercy will soon pardon the meanest, but mighty men shall be mightily tormented.
Mighty men are going to be tormented. Mighty men, mightily tormented. That's a strong word. You want to be a mighty man? I'm gonna mightily torment you. Now guess who the mighty man are? So if you out there trying, man, you striving to be that 144 boy, man. That's what it is. These are going to be the mighty men of Israel. So if you want to be a mighty man and do that for the Most High, and we do the wickedness, guess what? I'm gonna mightily torment you some way, somehow. And we gotta understand that. You gotta get your life together, get it right. Again, that's why when I throw the prayer up, the sins we committed knowingly and unknowingly, please forgive us. Please. Because it's a terror out here in this world. But we gotta try to walk upright against all the foolishness and wickedness. Keep going, King.
For he which is the Most High over all shall fear no man's person, neither shall be stand in awe of any man's greatness.
Yep.
For he hath made the small and great, and carried for all alike.
Yes, keep going.
But a sore trial shall come upon the mighty.
A sore trial will come upon the mighty, because you thought you was bigger than life. You had got big head. Nothing can touch me. And since nothing can touch you, you gotta make sure you walk that fine line. If you slip and fall, boy, you know how they be doing the videos that be having, especially for a man. You walking that tightrope, you slip and fall, and it turn into a cable, and the stones become very sore. And they know what you say about the man who has no stones. He can't enter into the kingdom anymore. Hey, man.
Right.
I'm just saying. Well, let's keep going.
Verse 9.
Yep.
Unto you, therefore, O kings, do I speak that ye may learn wisdom.
Do what?
Do I speak that ye may learn wisdom.
And that's what we got to do. We got to learn the wisdom of the Most High. Keep going.
And not fall away.
We can't fall away. Keep going.
For they that keep holiness holily shall be judged holy.
Those who keep holiness separate shall be judged separate. Because holiness is separate. Let's keep going.
And they that have learned such things shall find what to answer.
What to answer? Keep going.
Wherefore set your affection upon my words, desire them.
Desire the words of the Most High. Keep going.
And ye shall be instructed.
You're going to be instructed in the wisdom of the Most High. Keep going.
Wisdom is glorious and never faded away. Yea, she is easily seen of them that love her, and found of such as seek her.
And you got to seek out wisdom. Let's prove it real quick. Proverbs 8:17. Proverbs 8, we're going to be dwelling in that throughout this class as well. So if you got Proverbs 8 on deck, keep it ready. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 17.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 17.
Uh-huh.
I love them that love me,
Yep.
and those that seek me early shall find me.
Pause. That's it. So we're gonna come right back down there at 18 when we get into later chapter. But understand that when it comes to the wisdom of Solomon, you don't went over Bill and the Dragon. You don't went over Susanna, old Susanna. So we gotta understand these scriptures are an echo of the rest of these scriptures. Don't let nobody fool you and tell you that these scriptures are not part of the, as they like to say, the canon when it comes to the King James version of the scriptures. Let's keep going back to Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 6, verse 13.
Chapter 6, verse 13.
Huh.
She prevented them that desired her,
Yep.
and making herself first known unto them.
Uh-huh.
Whoso seeketh her early shall have no great travail,
Uh-huh.
for he shall find her sitting at his doors.
Now, and the best time to seek out wisdom is in our youth. That's the best time to seek out wisdom. Hopefully we got some parents that dive into the wisdom of the Most High, so you will get that wisdom at a young age. Out the womb pretty much. In the womb, you're getting that good wisdom. Keep going.
To think therefore upon her is perfection of wisdom, and whoso watches for her shall quickly be without care, for she goeth about seeking such as are worthy of her.
So wisdom won't be dealt with. It's going out searching. Who can I deal with? Who's ready for this good wisdom we about to bestow upon them? Keep going.
Showeth herself favorably unto them in the ways, and meeteth them in every thought.
In every thought. Keep going.
For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline.
What?
For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline.
And that's what we lack in Israel. Discipline. Discipline is something that we need. It's a must. Discipline. Discipline will keep your child in order. Discipline will keep you in order. And you know one of the people that got a lot of discipline? People that work out. If you constantly in the gym, it's discipline to wake up in the morning or when you go after work. That's discipline to go there and work out constantly. But you can't let that be the sole reason why you're going if you know you need to be healthy. Eating certain foods. The people that are health nuts when they come to their foods. A goal. You feel me there? You gotta have discipline to do that. That's discipline. Because we got another, we got people that don't have discipline in that. And they want to eat their, hey, I can't help it. I might be one of those that love that fried chicken. I love fried chicken. At 40 years we ate quail, and quail is like chicken. Fried the right way. They call it buffalo wings, but the wings kind of small. They look like quail wings. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying something. I'm just throwing that out there. Let's get back.
And the care of discipline is love.
Mm-hmm.
And love is the keeping of her laws.
Mm-hmm.
And the giving heed unto her laws is as assurance of incorruption. And the corruption making us near unto the Most High.
Pause right there. Corruption making us near unto the Most High. And love is the keeping of her laws. And the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruptibleness. You feel me? It's love. But mind you, who said that? When it comes to what is love. You feel me? As we know, if we didn't have no problem, we knew what love was. But even with the problem, we understand wisdom is part of that love. Because guess what wisdom is going to do for you? Wisdom is going to teach you. And guess what it's going to teach you? The same thing as you heard from the beginning. 2 John. It's 2 John for me, verse 6. What precept you got? Now, let's get that one. We get the 2 John. 2 John 6. 2 John verse 6.
Verse 6.
Yes, sir.
It's the book of 2 John chapter 1, verse 6.
Yep.
And this is love.
And this is what?
And this is love.
Uh-huh.
That we walk after his commandments.
Walking is a do. It's an action. That's an action. You gotta do actions. You can't just say, he knows me. Actions speak louder than words. Keep going.
This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning.
From the beginning. Same thing the book of Wisdom of Solomon is talking about. The same thing Solomon is telling us. Guess what? Moses told us. From the very beginning. Keep going.
Ye should walk in it. That's right.
Yeah, read it again.
Ye should walk in it, may know that ye have may know that ye have eternal life.
No, start from the top of 6.
Yeah, verse 6. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye should walk in it.
And that's what we should be walking in the commandments. First John 14 and 15. I ain't even gonna get on what you call it for you. 1 John 5 and 3. For the commandment is love, and it's not grievous, it's not hard to do. We make it hard when we try to put ourselves before it, but again, it's really word. John 14 and 15.
Oh, sit down.
Yeah, I read it, St. John 14 and 15. Sloppy. We're going to grab the one you said. Which one you said?
Ecclesiastes 85. There's one with what we're mentioning, Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 18, about keeping up our laws is assurance of incorruption. Same thing.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes
85.
85. All right, I got it. Go ahead, read that from the King.
This is the book of St. John, chapter 14, verse 15.
Yep.
If you love me, keep my commandments.
So Paul's right there. Christ just told us, if you love him, keep the commandments. Let me see. Does he say what it is? Because I know some people like to, it goes into something else. Because people like to say Christ came with a different commandment. He didn't. He didn't. He came with the same commandment that has always been here. But they say, oh, but it's 2. And mind you, that 2 starts off saying, Hero Israel. And it's still talking to Israel, so you can't get no other nations in there. So they put their foot in their mouth when they say that. Let's get Ecclesiastes 8 and 5. Let's bring that one out. Boom. And this 5, 8, 5 also going to go into right back to Romans 13 as well. Read that for me.
This book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verse 5. Whoso keepeth the commandments shall feel no evil thing.
Wait, read that again.
Whoso keepeth the commandments shall fear no evil thing.
Shall feel no evil thing. So something bad might happen, but guess what? You won't feel it like everybody else will feel it. You take it. Because what? Sirach 2 and 1? Take it cheerfully.
Right.
And something is brought upon you. See that word feel? See how it all goes together? So if you're writing and you're taking notes down, if you lose Ecclesiastes 8 and 5, you can put Sirach chapter 2 and 1 on down with that. I think on Sirach 2, chapter 2, verse 1 through 4 or 5. Let's say 5, make it a good round number. Keep going.
And the wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment.
A wise man's heart. A wise man's mind is going to discern time and judgment. Where he's spending his time at. And if I'm here too long, what might happen? You feel me? So when you ride around and whoop, whoop, time and judgment. Where was I going? Hey, man. Because this is when the law mess with you the most. And everybody try to do like they be seeing the Edomites do with a camera and going into places, filming. Oh, you can't tell me what to do. I know the law. The law wasn't meant for you. Their laws are not meant for you. The laws of the Most High is meant for you. But you want to try to follow them so bad and do what they do so bad. You say, forget about the Most High. We're out here, we're rioting. What? We're rioting? Oh, it's 4th of July. Pause the rioting. You gotta go pop some fireworks.
Right.
Happy 4th of July! But why are you? Yeah, we're mad at you, man. Why are you killing? Hold on, pause. It's Christmas time. Dashing through the snow. Our people lost. The presidents well, not presidents, but what presents do we get our kids? And you give all the glory again to who? So fictitious character and what he looked like. They had it on the news where the lady said, they said, okay, let's make Santa Claus black like Jesus. But, well, what? We're not going to make Santa Claus black. And Jesus damn well ain't black. On the news, she said this boldly.
Oh, yeah, that's in man later, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You feel me?
I heard.
Even the lady that was on Dr. Phil, talking about, I'm not going to celebrate. Well, why would you do that to the kids? Why would you take that away from them? Because that's a lie. Why would I sit up there and give all the glory to some white, fat, jolly man with red cheeks? And... No. But that's our people. She was smart, and they try to ridicule people for doing that. People probably see the meme now, right now, going around talking about T.I. and Dwayne Wade. They demonized T.I. for trying to preserve his daughter's virginity and stuff. Demonized him. And they glorify him. Hip hip hooray for Dwayne Wade for saying, yes, son, you can be a little girl. People starting to call evil good and good evil. Not too many precepts, because I got a lot in chapter 7. I see your mind working. There's a lot of precepts we can throw out. But this is the wisdom of the thing. A wise man's heart, meaning his mind, discern the time and the judgment. We see the time that we're in right now. We know the judgment that's coming. You feel me?
Yes,
but who else knows this? Back to the wisdom of Solomon. But so much I want to dive into. So much. But we're going to go ahead and get the wisdom of Solomon. Let's get back. Because I want to get to chapter 7.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 19.
Huh.
And in corruption maketh us near unto the Most High.
Yep.
Therefore the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. If your delight be then in thrones.
Because he said, and I don't think people caught that.
Okay.
Read that again, verse 20.
Verse 20. Therefore the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom.
The desire of wisdom will bring you to the kingdom. What was Christ all about? The kingdom, man. He was about the kingdom. And guess what we need to get that kingdom? The word, wisdom. And guess what the wisdom and the word constantly keep telling us to do? Close the book. Let's go home. Let's go home. So why would the church tell us the laws of God are done away with? But then tell you there's 2 laws. Wait, I thought the laws of God was done away with. But they're trying to make things, it's a transitioning now. We're transitioning from the laws of God to the law of Jesus. Like Jesus was on his own mission, separate from the Most High power. It wasn't so. It's not true. Go ahead, 21.
Come, verse 21.
Come.
If your delight be then in thrones and scepters, it's like scepter, or
Scepters.
it's like scepters, or ye kings of the people, honor wisdom.
Do what?
Honor wisdom, that you may reign forevermore.
And that's what the children of Israel want. We want to reign forevermore. We don't want the heathen reigning on top of us. We want to reign on top of them. As the Most High see fit. Keep going.
As for wisdom, what she is and how she came up, I will tell you.
Tell us.
And will not hide mystery from you, but will seek her out from the beginning of her nativity, and bring the knowledge of her into light, and will not pass over the truth.
Ooh.
Neither will I go with consuming envy, for such a man shall have no fellowship with wisdom.
So he's letting you know, I'm going to let you know everything about this wisdom, and I'm not going to be envied not to give you this wisdom. I'm going to give it to you. I don't care if you got it, more people have it, guess what? Better off we can be.
Right.
More people have it, better off we can be. I'm not going to be like, oh no, I can't give this to you.
Right.
Because with wisdom comes a lot of other things. Because the chief thing is wisdom, and everything is bestowed upon you because you have the wisdom. But Solomon's going to let us know that in the next chapter. Keep going.
Verse 24.
Uh-huh.
But the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world.
Yep.
And the wise king is the upholding of the people.
Read that again.
Verse 24. But the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world.
The welfare of the world. The welfare of Israel. Keep going.
And the wise king It's the upholding of the people.
And you got to worry about the people because you got to deal with them. They're here. But we want to do it in righteousness. Keep going.
Receive, therefore, instruction through my words, and it shall do you good.
It shall do what?
It shall do you good.
So far, you got to dive into chapter 7. The first 6 chapters so far, he ain't gave no ill advice yet. He keep giving the glory back to the Father. Where he got it from. Oh, y'all ready? You got to dive into it, man. Chapter 7. Let's get it.
Now, this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 1. On the Apocrypha, verse 61.
Yep.
I myself also am a mortal man.
So he's letting you know, after he just told you, listen to my instructions that I'm about to give you.
Okay.
Me, myself, I'm a mortal man. After he just said all that, he said, he let you know, I'm just like you. I'm a mortal man. Keep going.
Like to all. And the offspring of him that was first made of the earth.
Which was your boy, Adam. Keep going.
And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in thy time of 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed of men.
The what?
Of the seed of men.
The seed of man. Meaning that little thing that swam into the woman's womb, hit that egg. This is where all this stuff happened. That seed had life in it from the very beginning. Keep going.
And the pleasure that came with sleep.
And the what?
And the pleasure that came with sleep.
So sleep can be pleasurable. They can be pleasurable. What you got?
That's a wild thought. Like thinking about now, how we have the whole health class where they're going through all the diagrams or the visuals as to how the seed swims up to the womb, and these are the things that they knew about before, thousands of years ago, and now we have a science class in 2021. Now they're just now figuring out, okay, this is how it works, how it actually works. But they had this a while ago.
But some crazy woman will tell you, oh, I don't need no man.
Mm-hmm.
My egg itself can produce a child.
Yep.
What kind of nonsense are you spitting? You feed me the same nonsense they try to feed me talking about monkeys turning into men. But yet I don't see now monkey say, you know what? Let me out. I'm ready to go. I'm a man now. Mm-hmm. Monkey can't do nothing unless they sit up there and train the monkey to do it. Right. But yet, dude, this is the foolishness of our people. And you got people out here really believing this. Should I touch on it? Because there was this one dude promoting that to his God queen. And she tried spewing that nonsense. Mm-hmm. She's the God. No, she ain't. She can't do nothing without me. And now guess what? His seed of compilation got caught on somebody's dress, on somebody's clothing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And just like his elder teacher, he was doing the same thing. But see, I ain't gonna dive into that. That's for another class, another day. That's for a short to go into. You feel me? Just a little short to dive into. Well, let me get on Sirach 17. 1 to 3, real quick. 1 through 3. One, two, three. Because Solomon telling us he was more wisdom than all Sirach. But let us know the same thing. Keep reading.
Now, this book of Sirach, chapter 17, verse 1. Probably page 80. The Most High created man of the earth and turneth him into it again.
Yep. Ashes are ashes, and dust is dust, as they say, at every funeral. But the Apocrypha don't belong to the Bible. Let's go.
He gave them few days and a short time, and power also over the things therein.
Now, mind you, he gave us a few days and short time. And Solomon already touched on that. Our life is as a shadow, a snap of a finger, compared to the Most High, how long he's been around. Let's keep going.
He endured them with strength by themselves and made them according to his image.
And guess what his image is? Wait, should I read? Verse 4 go to? Yeah, read verse 4 too.
And put the fear of men upon all flesh, and give him dominion over beasts and fowls.
That's it right there. It goes into more the 5 operations of the senses and all that, but we ain't going to touch on that right now. But I wanted us to focus on the image of him. And you know what his image has? Wisdom. The Most High has wisdom. He's a jealous power. He goes through all the same things we go through, but something we don't like to utilize is the wisdom. The wisdom. Maya said, feel no pain. We can't be walking around here feeling all, going through these emotions. Back to Wisdom of Solomon. 7:3. Bring that out. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 3.
Now this book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 3.
Come.
And when I was born, I drew in the common air and fell upon the earth, which is like, which is of like nature, and the first voice which is I uttered was crying, and as all the others do.
So he's breaking down the birth. Babies come out, they cry. This is the first words you speak. Keep going.
I was nursed and swaddling clothed, and that with care. For there is no king that had any other beginning of the birth.
Yep, no other king had the same. Everybody that walked this globe had the same birth he had. You didn't have Mashiach and Hawashah. There's no such thing as what is called miraculous deception.
Miraculous conception.
Or deception.
Deception, right?
Because they deceive you if you believe that craziness. Keep going.
For all men have one entrance into life.
Yep.
And like in the light going out.
Meaning when you leave it, you're going to leave the same way you came. Death. Now, your house I touched them. But he was the first to be resurrected. Let's get it.
Now, wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me. I called upon the Most High, and the spirit of wisdom came to me.
Pause. Wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me. I called upon the Most High, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. Let's get it. Let's get this prayer real quick. First Kings. First Kings or Second Kings? First Kings 3. First Kings chapter 3, verse 5. Yeah, verse 5. Verse 5.
This is the book of First Kings, chapter 3, verse 5.
Okay.
And Gibeon the Most High appeared to Solomon in a dream by night. And Most High said, ask what I shall give thee.
Ask what I shall give thee. Now, a lot of people ask for foolish things. I could be one to say, when I was young, I asked for something foolish. We all have that chance and that opportunity to ask for something. Please don't let it be for nothing foolish. Let's take a heed in a lesson from Solomon. Let's see what Solomon asked for.
And Solomon said, thou hast shown unto thy servant David my father great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth, and in righteousness, and in upright of heart with thee. And thou hast kept for him his great kindness, and thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day.
Yep.
And now, O Most High, my power, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in.
Now I don't know what to do. How can I go out the door? How can I come in? I don't know what's going on. Keep going.
And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people, that cannot be numbered nor counted for a multitude.
So he said, man, you don't put me in the midst of Israel. This is a great people. So what can I do for these people? Keep going.
Right. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad.
Yep.
For who is able to judge this thy so great people?
Now, mind you, that's the first thing he told us in chapter 6. You want to be a king? You want to be a judge? Have understanding. Keep going.
And the speech pleased the Most High, that Solomon had asked this thing.
Yep.
And Most High said unto him, because thou hast asked this thing, and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, nor hast asked the life of thy enemies, but has
the life of thy enemies. He ain't want to be like everybody else that was around him. Solomon can literally say, I am a trendsetter. Let's go.
But had asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee. Neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee.
Come on, you can't beat that, man. You cannot beat that with a stick. That's why I said he was a trendsetter. Keep going.
And I have also given thee that which thou hast not asked, both riches and honor.
So you ain't asked for these things, but I'm gonna give you these things because you asked for this. Keep going, man.
So that it shall not be any among the kings like unto thee at all thy days.
So as long as you alive, ain't nobody gonna be like you. Ain't nobody gonna be able to put a candlestick to you. Keep going, King.
And if thou wilt walk in my ways to keep my statutes and my commandments, as thy father David did walk, then I will lengthen thy days.
So as long as you keep these commandments, your days are going to be even longer. Just keep my commandments, man. Go ahead.
And Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And he came to Jerusalem and stood before the ark of the covenant of the Most High, and offered up burnt offering and offered peace offering, and made a feast to all his servants.
Pause right there. We ain't even gonna keep going. But he woke up, saw it was a dream, but he still went and praised the Most High by giving his just service to the Most High. You see,
It was surreal, you know.
it was exactly, that's a good word. It was surreal for him. This dream was too real right there. Man. What are people saying? Shalom, Richard. Shalom. Hey, if y'all can, make sure y'all can hear me, man. If y'all can't hear, go ahead and put a 1. If you can hear me and everything is fine, put a 2 for me, please. Because again, our internet is down, so we streaming through another service right now. So I want to make sure the sound is coming through clear and in clarity. Most High will, everything is perfect. Let's get back to the wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 7 and verse 8.
This book of Solomon, chapter 7, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 8.
Hold on. Read verse 7 again.
Verse 7. Wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me. I called upon the Most High, and the spirit of wisdom came to me.
Done.
I preferred her before scepter and thrones, and esteem riches nothing in comparison of her.
And that's what he asked for. He asked for the wisdom. He could have, like you said, you didn't ask for riches, you didn't ask for this, you didn't ask for that. You already got the throne in this sense, but he's like, man, I want to be a wise king as I'm on the throne.
Right.
I'm with these great people. That's your people.
Right.
Job 28. Job 28. Verse 12.
This book of Job, chapter 28, verse 12. But where shall wisdom be found?
Where shall wisdom be found? Keep going.
And where is the place of understanding? Man knoweth not the price thereof, neither is it found in the land of the living.
You can't find wisdom in the land of the living. It got to be bestowed upon you. Keep going.
And the deaf said, it is not in me. And the sea said, it is not with me.
So everybody going around looking for it. Where is it? Where is it? Keep going.
It cannot be gotten for gold, neither shall silver be weighed for the price thereof.
You can't buy wisdom from the Most High. Keep going.
It cannot be valued with the gold of earth, with the precious onyx, or the sapphire. Sapphire. The gold and the crystal cannot equal it, and the exchange or it shall not be for jewels of fine gold.
Pause right there. So we understand that this wisdom people try to seek and try to go get, you cannot buy it. It is bestowed upon you by the Most High. And Solomon said, as they say, in the streets they like to say this. So some people can hear it. It needs to be clear. Hey, put the headphones on to see if you can get a clear sound. Because people say they can hear it, but it can be clearer. Again, that's so that people know, especially you, Brother Richard, we're going from a phone right now.
Good.
I'm going to be up front. We're coming from a phone, and we got the mics, but we're trying to use the mics to go into the mic. I mean, in the phone in the mic. It was a last minute thing. Our internet went down on us, so it's not clear for us right now. So I might have to redo the class at a later date and upload it, but we couldn't let the people wait. We had to bring this knowledge out. So back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. So again, Most High willing, I'm able to redo this class and just go through the precepts and again, it's a live class. So to try to mimic a live class is hard, but more information might even come out. You might try to record it and re-upload it. So it might be 2 classes on, one with a clear sound, and then we might even put that in the title, clear sound, and just delete the other one. But even the other one's gonna have information in it that I might not put in the second one because again, it's live. The spirit is, I ain't gonna say that the spirit is upon me, but the spirit is in the room. All praise to the Most High with the incense burning and everything. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 8.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 8.
Con.
I prefer her before scepters and thrones, and esteem riches nothing in comparison of her.
Yep.
Neither compare I unto her any precious stone, because all gold in respect of her is as little sin.
All gold in respect to wisdom is little sin. Keep going.
And silver shall be counted as clay before her.
This is how powerful wisdom is the Most High bestow upon you. Forget about the gold and everything else. People want to walk around with their chunks and all that. But what wisdom do they have? Our people will go out and buy the big, what they call Cuban links. And got the big gold chunks around them and walk in life. Talking about let's do the crate challenge. Our people done turned this thing into pure nonsense. I might try to start a challenge and use visual effects and jump off a cliff and see who follows me. That's the wildest. And guess what? What? He did that and then show me walking away. They're gonna be like, oh, let's jump off a cliff. Because common sense tells you if you go up too high on something and you fall, and this stuff is up underneath you when you fall, you might hurt yourself.
You see the one when I pushed up?
With the lady?
She busted her head wide open.
Dude, they got one lady busting her head open, lady done broke her arm, dude done broke his wrist, dude done broke his ankle. Everything is being broke upon them.
Who created that?
Somebody that knew I got him with this one. I'm gonna have these people doing the dumbest stuff to where Walmart say, let's sell crates. Let's make money off of them. Yes, it's our people. Our people. Don't you know they setting up at parks talking about let's do the crate challenge. And I heard this one dude say this, people will come together to watch each other fall and wish we fall instead of trying to bring our funds together so we can stand up and stand up strong like a tree. How about that? When I heard that, I had to share that on my Facebook. I said, dude talking crazy. He dressed kind of funny, but at the same time, the information coming out of his mouth, ain't nothing wrong with it.
This is why elders is needed, man.
Oh, the sound better, Richard? Let me know, Rich.
We need leaders in Israel, man. There's not that much leader out there.
We need a lot of leaders in Israel.
This is crazy what people are going through that.
But guess what? As the scriptures already tell us, they'll listen to a rich man,
Right.
but a poor man, like myself, man, what can you tell me? You're not driving in a Maserati.
Right.
You don't got the new Tesla on deck. You don't got this, you don't got that. But that's our people, man. The Maybach. Oh. And this is our people though, man. Where's the wisdom can be found? There's none to be found. Now, they can't see it though. Don't turn the phone to try to see it. I know you finding all kinds of stuff on the line right now, this craziness. Let's dive back into the scriptures.
This book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 10.
Pause. Before we drop Proverbs. We understand what we're going into right now. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 13 through 15. Like I said, Proverbs 13, 15. Time.
13?
Yeah, 13 through 15.
Oh, 3:13.
Yeah, time. 3 and 13.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 13.
Time.
Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding.
Happy is he that get these two things. Keep going.
For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold.
Yep.
She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst that canst desire are not to be compared unto her.
Ain't all these things you can think of, you can't compare it to the wisdom of the Most High. Proverbs 8. We just gonna read two real quick, because we're gonna come back to Proverbs 8 and ride through that one, boy. Proverbs 8, verse 10. Verse 10.
So this book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 10.
Come.
Receive my instruction, and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice of gold.
Yep, verse 11.
Verse 11. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it.
That's a repeat. Mind you, and guess who, I ain't gonna say who wrote Proverbs, we just gonna get back into the wisdom of Solomon, because not realizing this man wrote, I think, over 1,000 Proverbs. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what the scripture said, but we're gonna get it. It's gonna come up shortly. Verse, where we was at?
Verse 10.
Verse 10, come.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 10.
Come.
I love her above health and beauty.
He loved, read that again.
I love her above health and beauty.
He loved wisdom above health and beauty. Keep going.
And chose to have her instead of light.
Mm-hmm.
For the light that cometh from her never goeth out.
Now, remember that. Remember that aspect. He'll choose wisdom over light. Now, it's not the light that we know as the light, but it's just a regular light that's up in the ceiling. I'd rather have wisdom than a light that I can cut on and see with. Because the light of wisdom is never going to go out. And we know the real light the scriptures talk about is the law, statutes, and commandments. We understand that through the precepts. But keep going.
All good things together came to me with her. And
Numerous.
innumerable riches in her hands. And I rejoice in them all, because wisdom goeth before them, and I know not that she was the mother of them.
Pause. So, and that's what he's letting you in on. Riches can come if you have wisdom. The wisdom is the mother of everything. But if you don't have wisdom, guess what? You a fool with a bunch of money, you're just going to blow it. So if you're asking for riches, you ain't going to know what to do with these riches. You ain't going to know how to build your community and help out the people. What, everybody good? I forgot. I said it and I forgot. I think what?
They hear, two they can't.
Two they can't?
Two they can.
Two they can?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so they can hear.
Right.
All right, con. Did you got headphones to test it? To see?
I don't have any.
Damn.
Actually,
Here, take my phone.
Yeah.
You gonna listen to it on the tablet?
Mm-hmm.
All right, con. Check it out outside on the tablet for me.
Verse,
Where he at?
verse 13.
Verse 13, con.
I learn diligently and do communicate her liberally. I do not hide her riches.
You don't hide the riches, the wisdom of the Most High. Keep going.
For she is treasure unto man that never fell.
Yep.
Which did that use become the friend of the Most High.
If you use the wisdom of the Most High, you can become the friend of the Most High. Keep going.
Being commended for the gift that comes from learning.
Uh-huh.
The Most High have granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as it meet for the things that are given me, because it is He that leadeth unto wisdom and directed the wise.
So the Most High will lead you unto wisdom, and He also direct the wise when they come to the wisdom, because that's what wisdom is. But keep going.
For in His hand are both we and our words of wisdom also, and knowledge of workmanship. For He giveth me concern knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how. Not only to know how the world was made, and the operation of the elements.
The operations of the elements. So with wisdom, Solomon understood a lot of different things. The operations of the world. The operations on let's go into it, because he's about to go over the stuff he understood.
The beginning, ending, in the midst of the time.
So he understood prophecy.
Huh.
What happened before he came, what happened as he was here, and what's going to happen after he was gone. This is what wisdom gave him. Keep going.
The alteration of the turning of the sun.
The alteration of the turning of the sun. Pause right there. We're just going to pause and let that soak in.
Right.
The operation of the turning of the sun. Now, do the sun turn? I'm not going to touch it too tough now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying what the scriptures just told me. So what turns? The earth turn or do the sun turn? That's all I'm saying. We're not going to comment on it. We're not going to comment on it because you got different people that think different things. I'm just saying what the scriptures say. I know there's a spot in the scriptures where dude made the sun stand still. Who did that? You remember who made the sun stand still? Okay, that's homework. The homework for this class, find out in scriptures who made the sun stand still. Anybody that's online, if you got the answer, you can gladly type. Oh, who? Moses. Are you sure about that? If you're saying Moses made the sun stand still, you got to prove it with a scripture. But this is homework. We got to keep going because Wisdom of Solomon, he understood the turning of the sun. That's all I'm saying, man. But let's keep going.
Verse 19. Oh, it's like
verse 18. The end
verse
part,
18.
the changing.
The beginning, ended, and midst of the time. The alterations of the turn of the sun.
Yep.
And the change of seasons.
The change of seasons come.
The circuits of years.
The circuit of years. I'm not even going to touch on that, but keep going.
And the position of stars.
The position of the stars. How the constellations are lined up. What? Yeah. That's wisdom for you. Wisdom going to lead you to all truths. Who said that? But we going to touch on that later. Keep going.
The natures of living creatures.
The nature of the living creatures. So they ain't have the Discovery Channel. They didn't have the wildlife. People want to know what the creatures are doing. Guess where they went? They went and saw Solomon. Solomon, tell me about this animal. Oh, that animal does like this and does this and does this. Keep going.
And the fears of wild beasts, the violence of winds, and the reasonings of men, and the diversities of plants, and the virtues of roots, and all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know.
Pause. Yeah, you hear that? We're at go from 1 Kings 4, 1 Kings 4 and 32. So you and Joshua 10 and 13. But you put Moses. So did Joshua do it or did Moses do it? All right. We're going to get that too. After I read this precept with in Kings. I'm going in the wrong verse. 1 Kings chapter 4, 32. Because we're dealing with the operations of what Solomon understood with wisdom.
This is the book of 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 32. And he spake 3,000 proverbs.
He did what?
And he spake 3,000 proverbs.
And we're going to dive into Proverbs now.
And his songs were 1,005.
Because he liked to sing too. Keep going.
And he spake of trees from the cedar tree that is Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beasts and of fowl and of creeping things and of fishes.
Hey man, what does this fish do? How does this fish operate? He spoke on these things. Keep going, verse 34.
And there came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon.
And they came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon. Again, Solomon was a trendsetter. Keep going.
From all kings of the earth, which had heard of his wisdom.
Dang, who's that over there? That's Solomon with all that wisdom? Hey man, let's take a trip. Let's go over there. Let's see what Solomon talking about. Now somebody threw a precept in here. Joshua 10 and 13. Let's get that real quick. Let's see who did this. Who made the sun stand still. Chapter 10 and verse 13. Let's see who did.
It's the book of Joshua, chapter 10, verse 13. And the sun.
Go to read verse 12.
Verse 12. Then spake Joshua to the Most High in the day when the Most High delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon.
Pause. Hold on now. Well, wait. I don't know if that's a sister or a brother. Ashar. I hope that's a brother. Ashar, I hope that's a brother. Because the Ashar said Moses, but then he corrected this and said Joshua. Con, all praise to the Most High right there. Joshua did this thing, but he told the sun to stand still and the moon to stand still. Now, why he ain't asked for the earth to stand still? I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. But let's keep going.
Verse 13.
Con.
And the sun stood still.
And the what?
And the sun stood still.
Uh-huh.
And the moon stayed.
Because mind you can't let the sun stay still and the moon keep moving. Joshua had some wisdom on him. He understood let the sun and the moon stop. Not just the sun, but also the moon. Keep going.
Until the people have avenged themselves upon their enemies.
Uh-huh.
It is not this written in the book of Jasher.
Uh-huh.
So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and hasted not to go down about a whole day.
So I'm not going to talk on the book of Jasher, but mind you, some of these books that's in the scriptures, the King James, are different names. We got Joshua, just like they talk about the book of wars. What did all the war happen in? What book did that happen in? You feel me? In a sense, Joshua is the book of the wars, because that's all you read about in Joshua is wars. But when the heathen take a hold of our scriptures, guess what they like to do? Change up stuff. Let's call it Joshua because that's the main character now that you're reading about. But I ain't going to touch too further on that. Let's get back to the wisdom of Solomon. Powerful scripture. Powerful scripture, brother. I can't see the logo of your face because I'm looking on the phone. It ain't as big. What you saying? Because the sun revolves around the earth. Hey, you said it, not me. Hey, that's what the scriptures are telling us. That's what the scriptures are telling us. The sun revolves around the earth. The earth don't revolve around the sun. But we're not going to touch on that. I keep saying that. Don't get me going off right now.
Cut this book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 22.
Con.
For wisdom, which is the work of all things, taught me, for in her is an understanding spirit.
In her is an understanding spirit. Listen to these attributes of what this wisdom does. Keep going.
Holy,
It's holy.
one only, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt, loving the things that is good.
And now what's good as we read before? The commandments. Keep going.
Quick, which cannot be letted, ready to do good,
Ready to do good. Keep going.
kind to men, steadfast,
Yep.
sure, free from care, having all power,
Having what?
having all power,
Okay.
overseeing all things,
It's overseeing all things. Keep going.
and going through all understanding, pure and most subtle spirit.
Pause right there. Pause right there. Because we about to dive into something. It's going to be heavy. Now, some people might have this understanding already. If not, I hope they do. I even hope my brother comes sit down and try to get some of this good understanding. We're going to dive into Proverbs real quick. Chapter 8, verse 22. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 22. Keep going.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 22.
Uh-huh.
The Most High possesses me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning or ever the earth was. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountain abounding with water, before the mountain was settled, before the hill was, I brought forth.
Pause right there. So it's going into what was brought forth before the creation of everything. I'm just saying, But let's keep going.
God. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world, when he prepared the heavens, I was there.
When he did what?
When he prepared the heavens, I was there.
Now, is this wisdom he talking about? But let's keep going.
When he set when he set a compass upon the face of the depth, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountain of the deep, when he gave to the sea his decree, that the water should not pass his commandments. When he appointed the foundation of the earth, then I was by him.
He was by him. Can wisdom be by you? Oh man, that's what I'm saying. Keep going.
As one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him.
Can wisdom rejoice before the Most High? Because the Most High is wisdom, mind you. But this is also a parable about wisdom. Let's keep going.
Rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth, and my delight were with the sons of men.
Pause right there. Now we about to go to something that might blow somebody's mind when I call it out. We're going to John 1:1. You feel me? I hope y'all understand where I'm going with this. John 1:1. We just read about the spirit, wisdom, and now we in John 1:1. You got John 1:1?
Come, this is the book of John, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Most High.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Most High. Keep going.
And the Word was power.
And the Word was power. Now, in Christianity, they tell us who this Word is. They say this is the one they call Jesus. Hamashiach Yahushua. But let's keep going.
Okay. The same was in the beginning with the Most High.
The same was in the beginning with the Most High. We just read about the beginning in Proverbs 8. Solomon wrote a bunch of Proverbs. Solomon understood what was going on before he was here. Solomon ain't saying that was him. He understand that was wisdom. And we do understand Hamashiach with Hebrews 1 and 3 real quick. Pause right there. Let's get Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 3.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 3.
Hold on, you turned 39 today. I'm on one today.
So,
I need that. Go ahead.
this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 3.
Cut.
Who being the brightest of his who's being the brightest brightness of his glory, and the express image of his person.
The excellent image of his person. Keep going.
And upholding all things by the word of his power.
Yeah, upholding all things by the word of his power. Mind you, it told us in Wisdom of Solomon, is powerful in all things. Keep going.
When he had by himself purged our sins,
Yeah.
sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high.
Now, in Solomon, the Proverbs, it told us it sits in the midst of them, right? All right, in Proverbs it said this. Now keep going. Verse 4.
Verse 4. Being made so much better than the angel, as he had my inheritance obtained a more excellent name than they.
Being made. Yahushua was made the same way wisdom was made before the creation of everything. Now let's go back to John 1 and 3. St. John chapter 1, verse 3.
This is the book of St. John, chapter 1, verse 3.
Uh-huh.
All things were made by him,
Uh-huh.
and without him was not anything made that was made.
So without wisdom, without Yahushua, nothing could be made. Let us go down and make man in our image. Who is the us? Who is the Elohim in that verse? Who are the powers in that verse? Yahushua, the angels. But Yahushua was made before the angels. He had a better estate than the angels. Keep going.
And him was life.
What?
And him was life.
And in wisdom and in the Mashiach Yahushua, is mind you, what he say? I am the truth, I am the way, and I am the light. So keep going.
And him was life, and the life was the light of men.
Yep. Verse 5 now.
Verse 5. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended not.
Now, the same thing Wisdom of Solomon just told us through the attributes, verses, especially in verse 6, chapter 6, I believe, it talked about how he'd rather have this light, which is the light of the wisdom, versus a regular light. It might not be clear yet. Let's get another precept real quick. John 14 and 10. St. John 14 and 10.
This is the book of St. John, chapter 14, verse 10.
Okay.
Believest thou not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me? The word that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works.
Now, how can I break it down? When it comes to the wisdom is embodied in Christ. Christ is the Word. He didn't come to do his own thing as we teach here. He can't do the will of the Most High. Wisdom is going to lead you to all truths as well. Let's get that. John 16 and 12. 16 and 3, I believe. 13. 16 and 13, not 12.
Okay. This is the book of St. John, chapter 16, verse 13. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth,
The what?
the Spirit of truth,
Now, what it just told us in Solomon? What was all the attributes of it? Keep going.
is come, he will guide you into all truth.
Now, and that's what wisdom is going to do. Wisdom is a guide. Wisdom teaches you. Keep going.
For he shall not speak of himself,
Nope.
but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak.
Now, who are you hearing it from? But the Most High. Because the Most High is the ultimate person with wisdom. Who gives out wisdom? The Most High. Solomon told us this. Keep going.
And he will show you things to come.
He would do what?
He will show you things to come.
Now, what did Solomon say?
No,
Solomon understood that he understood the beginning, in the midst, and what is to come. This is the same spirit. And it told you it's spirits, many spirits. It's holy. And what they like to call it, the Holy Spirit. It's a separate spirit. It ain't like every other spirit. Keep going.
Verse 14. He shall glorify me, for he shall receive of mine and shall show it unto you.
He going to show what unto you? What?
All things that the Father had are mine.
Everything the Father had, it is his. So it goes back to who was in the burning bush? Who was the person that came through and went through in the Passover in Egypt? All these things was a Mashiach Yahushua going out, committing these things, doing what the Father told him to do. When he comes back, it's going to be Yahushua doing these things. But people will tell you, especially my Old Testament brothers, it's God that's doing these things. There was only God is the Savior of the nation of Israel. You're right. Because Yahushua is not going to take nothing from the Father. We give all glory to the Father. If I do something, nope, all glory be to the Father. Through a Mashiach Yahushua, you feel me? Everything goes right back to the Father. What we start off with every time we start class? Colossians 3
and 17. Whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of Mashiach Yahushua.
Giving
power to the Father, and giving power to the Abba and the Father by him.
Giving thanks to the Most High. That's who we give our thanks to the Most High, in the name of a Mashiach Yahushua. This is how everything's come full circle. John 14:26.
John 14:36.
26. Say spirit.
This is the book of St. John, chapter 14, verse 26.
Uh-huh.
But the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit,
Yep.
whom the Father will send in my name.
Wait a minute. He was saying it in his name. Who gives out wisdom? The Most High will give you this wisdom. And it is the Holy Spirit. And he's going to send it in the name of who? Of Mashiach Yahushua. Keep going.
He shall teach you all things.
He shall do what?
He shall teach you all things. And bring all things. And bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you.
So whatever the Most High, Yahushua spoke, he spoke the same thing that the rest of the prophets spoke. It echoed through the nations. It echoed through time. Get back to Psalms on Wisdom of Solomon. So the understanding is Christ is the embodiment of wisdom. When Christ said he should be in you, that's the wisdom he wants to be installed in you, to be in you. Let's get it though. We have verse 24.
This is the wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 24.
Read verse 23 again for me.
Verse 23. Kind to men, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things.
Doing what?
Overseeing all things.
And doing what?
and going through all understanding.
He's going to go through all understanding, and he's going to give that understanding to you. Keep going.
Pure and most subtle spirits.
Yep.
For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness.
It goes through all things, man. He will lead you to all things. That's what we just read. I still got it. Verse 26. And shall teach you all things and bring all things into your remembrance. You can't get around that, man. You can't get around that at all. Keep going to the wisdom of Solomon.
Come, verse 25.
Come.
For she is the breath of the power of the Most High.
She is the what?
She is the breath of the power of the Most High.
She is the breath of the power of the Most High. Keep going.
And the pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her.
But pause right there real quick. No, I ain't gonna get it, but keep going. Keep going.
For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of the Most High.
And what we just said in 1 John, that's the power of the Most High. But keep going.
And the image of his goodness. And being but one, she can do all things.
Being but one, she can do all things. Keep going.
And remaining in herself, she maketh all things new, and in all ages, entering into holy souls, she maketh them friends of the Most High.
And that's what it was. To be a friend of the Most High, you got to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. Keep going.
And prophets. For the Most High loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. For she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all the order of stars, being compared with the light, she is found before it.
Yep.
For after these cometh night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom.
What? Read that part again.
For after this cometh night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom.
All these other vices and other stuff cannot prevail against the wisdom of the Most High. Read 8 and 1 from me real quick.
Wisdom Solomon chapter 8 verse 1. Wisdom reacheth from one end to the another mightily, and swiftly both she order all things.
That's it. That's it. The Spirit will order all things. This is the wisdom. Huh?
It says sweetly doeth she order all things.
Come. Let's see what they got in comment real quick. Yes, we understand there was no J in the 1600s. All right, what's the name answering them? That was you, Nicole?
Con.
All right, all praise to the Most High. That ain't you. Who typing? Oh, on your tablet? All right, Darn, where we at? Oh, we got time. We can read verse 8 real quick.
Verse 2.
Chapter 8. Yeah, we can go through chapter 8 real quick. Chapter 8,
verse 2.
You guys going to read through that there, man.
I loved her and sought her out from my youth.
Yep.
I desired to make her my spouse, and I was a lover of her beauty.
It's wisdom he's talking about. Now, mind you, he just comparing wisdom to a woman to show how beautiful it is, how great it is to have. Keep going.
And that she is conversant with the Most High, she magnified her nobility. Yea, the Most High of all things himself loved her.
Yep.
For she is privy to the mystery of the knowledge of the Most High.
She is what?
She is privy to the mystery of the knowledge of the Most High.
She is privy, meaning she has understanding. She has things that we don't have. That's why it can lead us to all truths. Keep going.
And the lover of his works. If riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom?
Come on now. What's richer than wisdom? Keep going.
That worketh all things. And if prudence work, who of all that is more cunning workman than she?
Yep.
And if a man loveth righteousness, her labor are virtuous, for she teaches
For she
teaches temperance and prudence, justice and fortitude, which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable in their life.
Nothing is more profitable in your life than the wisdom. Everything you think you can have, wisdom trumps it all. Keep going.
If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, and conjectures, or right what is to come.
Yep.
She knoweth the subtleties of speeches, and can expound dark sentences.
So wisdom can understand people that try to come with this deep knowledge. Wisdom is going to trump that. Oh, you trying to say that? That's why wisdom is quick as well. You try to say something, I'm quick on my toes to respond because wisdom is responding. I'm not responding. The Most High is responding with the wisdom because I done learned of old. Keep going.
She foresees signs and wonders, and the advance of season and times.
It foresees things. And they like to say this about black people. No, fight about to break out. Let's get going. Some people see a fight about to break out and say, let's get closer.
Right.
Wisdom is going to tell you, let's go. Foolishness is going to say, let's get closer to the action. And when they go pop, 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 why did I get shot? What happened? Why it hit me like this? Because you ain't used the real wisdom. Keep going.
Therefore, I purpose to take her to me to live with me, knowing that she would be a counselor of good things.
A counselor of good things. Come on now.
And a comfort and care and grief.
What?
And a comfort and
what?
And a comfort.
What Christ said he was going to send?
And a comfort and
another
care.
Comforter. Christ said he was going to send another comforter. What wisdom can do, wisdom can comfort you. Come on, man. Keep going.
And cares and grief. For her sake I shall have estimation among the multitude, and honor with the elders. Though I be young, I shall be fond of quick conceit and judgment, and shall be admired in the sight of great men. When I hold my tongue, it shall abide my leisure, and when I speak, it shall give good ear unto me.
And that's why, I forget where it's at, where it's talking about a fool can seem wise if he don't speak. But you got to know when to talk and when not to talk. Know when to play, when not to play. Know when to be serious and you can relax a little bit. All these things go into having wisdom. Discerning the time and the judgment. Keep going.
If I talk much, they shall lay their hands upon their mouth. Moreover, by the means of her, I shall obtain immortality, and leave behind me an everlasting memorial to them that come after me.
And guess what his memorial is? The book of wisdom of Solomon, the Proverbs, the Psalms, Scripture, teachings. Keep going, King.
I shall set the people in order, and the nations shall be subject unto me.
Now, in order to do this, Israel, you got to have wisdom. If you don't have wisdom, you ain't going to know how to set the people in order. That's why we have the soldier class to teach the young men on how to be soldiers, how they should be operating. But hey, you know what happens. Keep going.
Horrible tyrants shall be afraid. When they do but hear of me, I shall be found good among the multitude, and valiant in war. After I am come into mine house, I will repose myself with her, for her conversation had no bitterness, and to leave with her have no sorrow, but mirth and joy.
That means I can come home and think about wisdom, and me and wisdom can have us a conversation. Because I'm going back and forth with all the knowledge I have that the Most High bestowed upon me. He's having a company meeting in his mind. Let's keep going.
Now when I consider it these things in myself, and ponder them in my heart, how that to be allied unto wisdom and immortality.
So he said about, and he pondered these things. When we think about foolishness, wisdom of Solomon was thinking about wisdom. Keep going.
And great pleasure it is to have her friendship, and in the works of her hands are infinite riches.
In the works of the hands of wisdom, you can have riches. Because that can help you get it. Because you know how to move, you know how to operate, you know how to do certain things. Keep going.
And in the exercise of conference with her, prudence, and in talking with her, a good report, I went about seeking how to take her to me. For I was a witty child and had a good spirit. Yea, rather being good, I came into a body undefiled. Nevertheless, when I perceived that I could not otherwise obtain her, except the Most High give her me.
Dang, he wanted it, but how am I get it? The Most High got to give it to me. As a young youth, this is what he's thinking about. He's not out there talking about, hey man, I want to do the next challenge that comes out. I want to be the one to create the next challenge. I want to be in attention seeking, I ain't going to say it, but attention seeking. I want people to look at me, hey, look at me. Get on my TikTok. But what the TikTok is doing. Now, we be on TikTok, Instagram, and we send videos to each other, Con. We send each other the foolishness, the stuff that make us laugh a little bit, but we also send information. Because now is the information age of what, one of the things they like to say, name something that you did not know and you thought sounds illegal. This is one of the things, you saw those before, right?
Yeah.
And they say something, you be like, I never knew that. But some people know that because, okay, I don't want to do that over there. Hey man, let me talk to you about this. And people telling you the information. The information been out there. But we couldn't take it. People couldn't handle it. What they talking about? Let me read. Do you teach against Muslim mixed bastards in your congregation? Wisdom of Solomon 4:3 speaks against bastards. Do we teach against that? Now, answer this question. And you need to think about this. In the day of wisdom of Solomon, did he know who he was? Did Solomon know he was an Israelite? Yeah or nay? So I'm answering you, and this is towards Yasher, Yehuda. Because he was saying Yehuda, I can be like, hey man, there was no U's in the Hebrew. Do that mean you're going off? Because there was no U sound. The same way that J was invented, same way that U was invented. You feel me? But everybody don't have that understanding yet. So to say Yehuda when it's Yahweh, can I say you going off? Because to talk about teaching against something, what is it to teach against? We got to understand and get that understanding for one. That's like saying, do we teach against using the U's in the Hebrew language? You just come into the understanding. Okay. Now you, for example, when you was born, Yasher, did you know you was an Israelite? Yes or no? Give it time because this is a delay. So you're asking the questions, and I'm gonna walk you through this. So when you was born and you was walking this earth, I don't know how old you are, but I want to ask, when you understood, when you was walking, did you say, hey, I'm an Israelite and I come from this tribe? No. So if you did something in the midst of that, yeah, sure, you did not know. But just say, because I can't see the picture. So let's just say you were a man and you had sex with a Moabite or a Ishmaelite and had a baby. You feel me? Now, are you going to say, hey kids, you're a Mizraim, now I don't want to deal with you no more? Do that make any sense? Because you didn't know you was Israel. You had no idea that you were Israel. So how can you teach against something when everybody understood who they were during Solomon Day? Even in Solomon Day, they had the northern and southern. Was the northern going off at this time? Because they had two temples, if I'm not mistaken. I ain't going down there with Solomon at. Let's see. That's right, Cat. Bring it. Con. So, and that's what we got to understand. To teach against something we know now, no, I shouldn't go out there and marry a white woman now that I came into the knowledge and the understanding. That's like saying, hey, did you marry the first person you had sex with?
But we also got brother to go to China. We got Patterson.
But he's here now. I'm discussing it now because this is what we're about. We're about bringing forth the understanding. Yes, we teach that you should not deal with other nations as you come into this knowledge and this truth. When we out there teaching, y'all can not say it all the time. You should be ashamed of yourself. Woman, you're dealing with this man who's not your people. You got several brothers that teach that as they stand on the blocks. the movie Get Out and all this other stuff. We look at that as enjoyment, but understanding now that, hey, I'm an Israelite. Prior to then, hey, man, as a man in this crazy world, it was, what they say? When they say, what's the word? What's the terminology? When I was not in this truth, when I didn't understand who I was, it was free game. It's all open. Pork chop sandwich and hell, come here, white girl. Shit. And Publix used to sell these little pork strips that taste good when you cook it up. I didn't understand I was an Israelite, but it got to the point where I was like, man, I ain't eating pork no more. And I've been like that way until then I said, I shouldn't be eating pork anyway. Eat this mother chicken. But that still didn't stop me from going to Publix getting the what it's called, they seafood salad. They got the little artificial crab in it and all this stuff. At our ignorance, the Most High winked that. But now you come into the knowledge, guess what you got to do? Put on them brakes, stop doing it, turn around, do what Solomon did in 1 Kings chapter 8, I believe, and we might end out with that prayer, as we did before in this class. We might go out with that prayer again. We committed all abominations before the Most High. So you can't say, oh, because a person is like this now, oh, you're off. Who are you to tell somebody they're off? When you yourself didn't even understand who you were. And your list of sins is long. Very long. Because all of our list of sin is very long. Hence why even the priests at the time of Moses' day, guess what they had to do? They had to sacrifice stuff for their own sin. Now you're supposed to be the priest. You in the temple day and night. What sin can you commit? But yet, the Most High said, do a sin sacrifice for yourself, and then do one for the people. But dude, I don't go nowhere. Literally, Aaron, his children, went nowhere. So how can they have to put up a sin sacrifice? To let you know you're always doing something sinful. Your righteousness is as filthy rags to the Most High. So the answer to your question is, do we teach against dealing with other nations? Yes. Stick to your own people. We teach that the Hispanics of slave descent that was over here during the time of the Apocrypha, 2nd Esdras, are the children of Israel. That's what we teach here. And got history books on all that stuff to say, yes, these are the people. What's the word? Archaeology. Archaeology shows us this stuff. One of the oldest things written in the Paleo-Hebrew, as they call it the Rosetta Stone. No, not the Rosetta Stone. I'm talking about a goddamn book. What the thing called? It's not a book. It's a stone. I forget the name of it. I always had the name, but then I started saying Rosetta Stone, and it just threw my mind off. The power of dyslexia, boy, I tell you.
A stone for what?
It's an Indian stone.
Hammurabi, or was
no.
it the sense? No, the silver.
They had it in the Smithsonian. They had it buried in the Smithsonian. They kept trying to read it, but had it upside down.
Oh, it was the Hope.
No.
The Back Creek. I think that's it.
Something like that. It's the Back Creek Stone or something like that.
But it was upside down.
It was upside down, but it's in Paleo-Hebrew. So that piece of archaeology is over here, found in Kentucky or somewhere where the so-called Native Americans was at. This proves that who they were, that they are the so-called Israelites. So we have that understanding, and the book of Ezra 9 and 2.
I think he's talking about the lambs and stuff.
See, again, he's talking about something that these people knew who they were. Now, if I dig far enough in your tree, what he said? The guide stone? I don't know if the guide stone don't sound right, because it sounds like it's almost
Decalogue stuff. Decalogue.
That right there, what's that called?
This one?
The back creek stone. That one. This one. They can't see it. See, I wish not that one, that one. That's the one they had in the Smithsonian. It's the Back Creek Stone, but they had another word for it. Because they even had it on your boy. I forget the white boy name. But see, again, And this is what you got to understand. When we deal in the history of our people, we understand that certain things we shouldn't involve ourselves with. But you're using stuff that they knew who they were at that time. So since you didn't know you was an Israelite at that time, I know you committed a sin that was guilty of death, so go jump off a mountain. Yeah. We understand that, you feel me? But these people knew who they were. And that's the key thing. You can throw 1,000 scriptures at me saying, look what they did. Okay, I understand that. But them people knew who they were. Today, we didn't know who we was. So when we came to the knowledge of who we was, do we supposed to say, get out here? No, you can't do that. That's not wisdom. Just say, okay, now that you know, I know a lot of stuff. Do that mean I go ahead and chop my head off because of the sins I committed and knowing that I was guilty of death for committing them sins? Because, I can run down the list of my sins, boy, and one of them I know for a fact is guilty as death. Death. And just to touch on it, they tried the woman like that. And you know what Christ told them? He without sin cast the first stone. She was with this man, and now we caught her in the act. You feel me? Not to go too much in detail, but that's how it goes. And I know a lot of other people done did that. She got somebody and you done slept with her. Or you know you belong to somebody, but yet you let her know. And they call them side chicks and side dudes. Everybody that's committing that act right now should be what? Put to death. It's just that simple. That act is worthy of death. So are we going to go out and kill people now? Because that's what the law says. And since you're telling me something that you read in Ezra, and because they put them out, they put them away. Okay, they said put them to death too. So let's go put people to death right now. Where's the wisdom in that? Where's the understanding in that? Mind you, said it's understanding. It will lead us to all truth. So that's what we got to understand. To give a precedence of 2 to 4 generations without having mixed blood. Again, how do you know? A person will tell me this. For surety, do you know you Israel? Can anybody say without a shadow of doubt they're Israel? No. But yet you're going to try to tell me you Israel? You can't say without a shadow of a doubt.
I have no answer.
Because if I tell you what happened 200 years ago, what can you tell me? You have no clue. Not a clue what happened 200 years ago in your family tree. Not a clue. We understand the spirit bearer witness. You feel me? We understand that understanding. But to put it in simple terms, 200 years ago, what happened? Who did you descend from? Because, as they like to say, we were raped. But every rape didn't come a baby. Some did, some didn't. Even in the movie Roots, your girl Izzy, her daddy, Chicken George, came from a white man. And Chicken George has some black kids. Now, you don't know who's that girl you really getting with. So every time you think that generation curses by the end, boop, you done hop right back in that generation. So you constantly in that 3 to 4, damn it, I gotta start over. I gotta start over. By that time you starting over, guess what? You X'd out of the picture now. You're not part of that good generation. You're still part of that cursed generation. So prove to me that you're good. You can't. But the spirit bearers witness. You gotta have understanding and wisdom. So when people try to dive and jump on what's the darn word? Say it for me. Mamzer. And a lot of people that talk about Mamzer like to use the I'm not picking on you, brother, but the people that like to jump on that always can't even spell the Hebrew words right. So if you want to pick on that,
It's good.
look, you hear? See, and look at that. See, the people in the comment section is going to hit it up. You feel me? But at the end of the day,
If we go on with your logic, that means Moses' seed should not have been there. And we know what happened to that person that spoke against that. It's just that simple. So you better be careful what you speak against. In and out, Proverbs 2 and 6.
You want me to finish Numbers 1 and 18 first?
Because we already got the understanding that by the house of your father. That's the key point. And when you try to talk about somebody that you really don't know, done died. And for tell me, oh, it only go back to the grandparents. Because hold on. Because their excuses, we just go back to the grandparents. Where I say that at? Show me a scripture that say we only go back to the grandparents. Because grandparents is only 2 generations. Grandparents, parents, you. You still in the 2nd generation. You're not the 3rd. So you want to tell me, how do you count that now? So we got to, you can't get caught up, man. Can't get caught up. Read that for me.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 2, verse 6.
Fine.
For the Most High giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding.
Let's read that again.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 2, verse 6. For the Most High giveth wisdom.
The Most High is going to give the wisdom. And guess who else is going to say who's in and who's out? The Most High. Keep going.
Out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding.
Knowledge and understanding. You got to have knowledge and understanding. Because you have to now respond to me about, what about Moses' seed? Was Moses' seed out of there? When Moses died, did they grab up Moses' children and say, come here, you're out of here now because of the what is it called? Mimzer? Because they using a lot of letters in there that don't got nothing to do with Hebrew. I's and the R's and all this other stuff. That don't sound like a Hebrew word. I mean, Mimzer. I have to look at the spelling in the Hebrew. You are Mimzer and would have to have the grace of Elohim to receive them. What kind of nonsense is that? I'm a Mimzer.
Manakin says Yashur.
Oh, he talking about him. That don't even make.
If my father is Israel, and my mother is Canaan, what am I? We are. You can't be a Mimzer because we just went over Numbers 1 and 18.
This is what I'm saying. So what would, dude? Darn, I wish I had my other tablet here with me, so I could see what Moses. What was Moses' children's name, man?
Gershon or Gershom.
Find that for me real quick. Because I want you to say out of your mouth and type it up for the world to see, or what you're going to say about Moses' children.
Gershom.
Moses received grace.
Gershom.
But no, don't. See, grace. Grace is a time period. See, that's what I'm saying. You're not even knowledgeable enough to say he received mercy. See, that's the right word to use, but you're going to say grace. That shows me you don't even know the right terminology of the Hebrew culture. And since you want to harp on that, Yehuda is going off. How about that? To say the word Yehuda, that shows me you are the Mimzer. And you don't have no understanding of Scripture. Because you had the nerve to tell me J was invented in the 1600s. Really? You went that far and not understand that the U was invented at the same time? Because wherever U was at, they had a V there. They put the V's together and guess what they called it? A W. But you so smart, you want to try to tell me about some Mimzer nonsense. I can go deep with a person, man, but I choose not to. Just to show you how foolish you are, man. That's foolishness to go into, back up with the thing. You sitting right there next to the phone with that bar. Thank you, sir. But this is what I'm saying, man. Now, what can you say about that? Are you going to go change your name? Yasher, Yehuda? Show me a Yehuda in the scriptures. That's what I'm saying, man. The U is older than V. You see this nonsense?
Yes.
You see this nonsense. The U is older than V. But see, you know what that goes into? Some other foolish doctrine. Some other foolish doctrines. Because the same spot you see J at, guess what it tells you? The U was invented too. So tell me why they call the W, why it look like that then? Answer that for me. Answer that for me. It literally says W, dude. And if you had you a 1611 King James Version of the Bible, all you got to do is look at every word that say up and see how it's spelled. VP. It's not a UP. It's a VP. The same way all the J's are I's. So prove that to me, buddy. You can't. You can't. And this is where you get these internet prophets. Because later on, I want to type on your thing and see a bunch of classes you teaching.
His name is Gershom.
Gershom?
Gershom. Yeah.
Oh, no, he already said he received grace.
You received grace?
He received grace.
So why is he numbered among the children of Levi, the sons of Levi in 1 Chronicles 6 and 16?
Because he received grace, but there's no scripture say he received grace. Now is it? What the Most High said, how you going to try my people? You're not in a position of doing nothing like that. And this was Moses' sister. The same sister who took Moses out of the water. Here, Mom, look, your son is back. Nurse him. This the same girl. So she had power. She was there. That's it. But I'm going on a tangent because I just want to right now. Because people just say the wildest stuff. The U is older than the V. Just look that up real quick for me. Pull it up online. Because the internet is here. What letter is older, the U or the V? Let's just see what the internet tells us. And we ain't just going to look at one source. Let's look at several sources. Let's see. When did the letter U enter the alphabet? Dictionary.com. When did the letter U enter the alphabet? Scroll down. There was no letter U in the alphabet. Dun dun. That's the first line in the dictionary.com. But yet, the U is older than the V. Let's keep reading. Well, that's not the entire story. There was a sound for the letter we call you. But do they use that sound? No. You say Yahuwah. But it didn't look like you. It looked like V.
You want this?
I don't need that. All anybody got to do right now is look up dictionary.com and read. It's just that simple. This is why the W looks like the. You see how I already did my research on it. That's why I know this already. But let's see. Because for a very long time, U and V were oleographs. Well, an oleograph is a variation of a letter in another context. Uppercase, lowercase letters are alphagraphs before the use of the letter U. The shape V stood for both the vowel U and the consonant V. Dude, do we got to keep going? Let's go to another source. Maybe he got a source that can show us that the U was here before the V. When you speak Greek, maybe. Did U come before V? The point form V was written at the beginning of the word, while a round form U was used in the middle or end, regardless of sound. Wait, go down some more. Go down some more. No, we was already there. Scroll down. I ain't even go to Wikipedia. Anybody can type anything in Wikipedia. Go down some more. Right there. Why do some old buildings have the letter U written like a V? God dang it. God darn it. That's done daughter, man. Among you upon your Hakwadam. Rise and face the east, man. Rise and face the east. Do this for me. A call. Do this for me. 1 Kings 8. You might have to hold it too, I don't know if it's going to hold. 1 Kings 8, we're going to start at 47, and we're going to go through 43, 49, 50. We're going to go to 50. Nah. 51. Go to 51. 47 to 51. Not yet.
Come.
Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Bahashem.
Yahweh's shot.
Bahashem.
Yahweh's shot.
All praise be to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for truly his mercy endure forever. All praises to the Most High for having us do the class, even though the internet went down. We still was able to log on from our phone and have this word come out. Again, Most High, thank you for allowing the righteous angels to encamp around us and keeping us safe as we went over the class. Also send out the healing angels to all of Yasharala, the repentant and the unrepentant, that they may be healed, their mind cleansed, and come back to keeping your law, statutes, and commandments. All praises again in your anointed son's name, Hamashiach Yahawashah, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Please receive our prayer and our supplication. 1 Kings chapter 8, the same prayer as Solomon went up for the children of Israel and all Yasharala.
This book of 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 47.
Come.
Yet if they shall bethank themselves in the land whether they were carried captives, and repent and make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carried them captives, saying, we have sinned and have done perversely, we have committed wickedness, and so return unto thee with all their heart and with all their soul in the land of their enemies, which led them away captive, and pray unto thee towards their land, which thou gavest unto their fathers, the city which thou hast chosen, and the house which I have built for thy name. Then hear thou their prayers and their supplication in heaven, thy dwelling place, and maintain their cause, and forgive thy people that have sinned against thee, and all their transgression wherein they have transgressed against thee, and give them compassion before them who carried them captives, that they may have compassion on them. For they be thy people and thy inheritance, which thou broughtest forth out of Egypt from the midst of the furnace of iron. And thy eyes shall be open unto supplication of thy servant, and unto thy supplication of thy people Israel, to hearken unto them in all that they call upon thee. Bahashem Mashiach Yahushua, the water from Yad. Amen.
Amen. Get a Most High hand. Yeah, there you go. All praise be to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Thank you again for tuning in to another Wednesday Wisdom. Tune in next week as we continue reading in the book of the Wisdom of Solomon out of the Apocrypha. And as always, try to tune in to the Tuesday class, Bring That Out radio show with Friday with Elder Bishop Lakalau. Saturday, tune in for the Shabbat service, and also Sunday for the Creole class with the powerful Captain Yakinan. With that, I say Shalom.